Hi, welcome back to episode 3 of season 2, Koffee with Kirren. I've been away for a little while because there's been a lot going on in the world, but I'm back. And the reason I'm back is because I've had a lot of people contact me recently after watching a previous episode of mine where I spoke about job interviews. And so I've had a lot of people contact to ask for advice about applying for a job in the real estate industry. So I thought, who better to have on my podcast as a guest than one of the head of recruitments at One Investments. So welcome to the podcast, Ali.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited.
Yeah, super happy to have you here. So let's get on with it. Let's just go because I know we've got a lot of things to cover because we've been getting a lot of questions recently. Yeah. Okay. So I think my first question is going to be to you is, what are the kind of misconceptions people have about the real estate industry or the jobs in real estate, like me, the job I do? What kind of things do people come across and say to you, or what do you get?
I think one of the main misconceptions is the lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
You see it all, right? I've seen it myself. Even, everyone I know, if they, for example, in the UK, all they see in Dubai, real estate, for example, is people who have made it, right?
Yeah.
They've got the cars, they've got the apartment, the watches, right? But no one knows how they got there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, me coming here, I've spoken to people. At the start, it's late nights.
Yes.
Right? Calling, you're going to get a lot of no's, right? And a lot of people fall off, right?
Yeah.
Where they're getting a lot of no's and they think that's how it is, right? But the most successful people, everyone I've asked, they've done the late nights, they've lost on sleep, they've done the calls, they've heard no's, right? And then they eventually get those yeses, right? So I think the biggest misconception is you get to the man, you've got it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we get that a lot in our office. A lot of, let's say, juniors, let's call them, like people who are new to the industry. They'll come in and they think, like, they just look around and think, oh, you close the deal, but they don't see how the work it took to get there. It didn't happen overnight. So yeah, that's something that I've been telling a lot of people is that, look, when I first joined One Investments, I didn't sleep. I was here night and day. And I think people just don't understand the level of competition as well in the industry. I think some people do get it though as well. They do kind of come with this work ethic. But do you see a pattern in the kind of background these people come from? Like, is there a certain, like, obviously I came from a real estate background. So do you see people with real estate backgrounds do really well, or who seems to thrive?
I mean, it's not really more about experience, right? Now, personally, from what I've seen, people can transition when you're in sales, for example. I'll give you an example, car sales, right? Tech sales. You can transition into real estate sales quite easily, right? But then there's other people as well who don't have any sales experience, right? But they've got that drive, they've got the work ethic. I have these conversations all the time with them, right? They want to know what they'll be doing, for example. And I'm like, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it for you. You're going to be calling, you're going to be, on the phone, right? But if you've got that determination and that hard work, sales is a skill you can eventually, pick up on, adapt on, right? There's always, for example, in the office, you can listen to other people, right? Those, people who have been there for 9-10 years and they've sold real estate, you can pick up on that. Drive, determination is what's going to get you to start, right? Sales, of course, you'll learn that
and then
you'll go.
Are there any other skills you think people need to come with? Yes, drive and determination.
It's not necessarily the skills. It's more of the mindset.
Yeah.
Right? Mindset on, when you get here, what you're going to be doing, because if you ask every experienced broker, they've always had a roadblock.
Yes.
Right? They've come from, I mean, you can even, you can even tell us, right?
Been there plenty of times.
Exactly, right? Every experienced broker always had a roadblock. It's how they've overcome that roadblock is through their mindset, right? They keep on going. Like, for example, at the start, be dialing, right? You're going to get a lot of no's, but when you get that yes, it's going to be satisfying. And every broker you can ask them, they were in that office late nights.
Getting no's is part of the job. It's not you're doing the job wrong. That is our job. So, I will make 100 calls a day and 90 of them not going to answer or tell me no. But those 10, I'm living for those 10. Like, I'm happy with those. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how the mindset should be, right? When you're calling, you shouldn't be calling those 100 and being like, okay, all of them are going to be saying yes.
Exactly.
You're calling those hundreds to find that one person that's going to say yes.
Yes.
It's like that's how you should be thinking about it. When your mindset's like that, then
it's easy. It's going to work.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy.
But I think that the other thing is as well, I think, again, when I say, you know, should you have any skills or anything, I think people from sales do well in this job. The reason why, because they understand it's a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't had sales experience before and you don't understand it's like a sales funnel and you start with 100 and you work your way down, that's where people get like, feel like they're working so hard and they're not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely think that, you know, if you can just see, I think if you can just take direction and listen to what people are telling you, then you'll kind of work out. So with that said, what's the realistic time frame of when a new agent will close the first deal? Like, what are you telling people in interviews, or what have you seen on our shop floor? I mean, because obviously I've been doing this a long time, so me closing a deal is going to be very different to someone very new in our company. What timescales have you seen in people?
That's one of the many, like, I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
I can't really put a time frame on it, right? Because I'll give you an example from what I've seen. There's someone who, you know, I've bought into the company and they've closed within the first week. And then someone who I've also bought into the company and then they've closed in like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Right. So but what I've seen is how persistent a person is.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes back to the same thing, right? We might sound like a broken record, but it's the dialing, right?
No, it is, yeah.
The dialing, the late nights, right? Those people are pushing more, where it's like, if you think about it, you're going and, you know, doing late hours, right? You're hitting a different market, right? Not everybody might be doing that. So you might have a better chance of hitting a client who's not likely to be called from someone from here because you're doing those late nights. Now,
So just to kind of let the audience know, so at One Investments, we work across the world. We work US, UK, Europe, Africa. Anywhere else? No. They're the 4 main ones right now. Yeah. So we literally do work 24 hours. Obviously, not one person will work 24 hours, but different teams cover different time zones. This is what Ali's referring to right now about if you're, say, working on that USA market, then, you know, you've done the late hours because not a lot of brokers in Dubai will do the late hours. You know, so this is where Ali, well, I don't know how to do it. This is what you mean, right? It's like the people if you're tapping into that niche market, which other people don't want to work in, you've got higher chances than, say, everyone working on UK because the hours are more appealing.
Yeah, no, of course. So if you've got, like, for example, like you mentioned, One Investments, right? We've got, for example, leads and clients in every time zone.
Yes.
So you're never short on, you know, what hours you want to do. You can come in, for example, right? And kind of scope the office, see what the hours are quieter. You know, is it quieter late at night? Would I be able to get more leads on that side if I come in and do this shift? Yeah. Right. So it's how you play it. But yeah, I've seen people close in the first week. I've seen people close, you know, 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
But realistically, if I was to give just from like an informative aspect, you're going to come in initially, and if, let's say, you are starting off and you're not that well versed in real estate sales in Dubai, you're going to come in, you'll be training for, you know, trying to understand and understand the model, understand how it works, right? That realistically takes, people say a month, but I say 2 months. You don't want to rush it.
I totally agree with you, because I feel like if you don't do your training properly, because that is your foundation, you get that proper training, you learn your foundation. I was gonna say the basics. It's a little bit more than the basics, but you learn something. You got some knowledge in the bank, because you have to expand on that the whole time you're an agent. But then that is what's going to give you a better chance of when you're on those calls is, you know, because you're so much more confident because you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. How I explain it is, it doesn't really matter when you pick up the phone, the other person on the phone, the client doesn't know how long you've been there, how long you've been doing real estate, for example, right? So to them, you're the expert already on the phone, right? They don't know your experience.
Exactly what I said.
Right? So if you're rushing your training, you're going to get there and you don't really want to trial and error a conversation with a potential client.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You want to be well versed. If they ask you something, oh, I knew that in training.
Yeah.
Right? I learned that. But yeah, it's what you make it.
But I always say this as well. I always tell a lot of the juniors that the more calls you make, the more knowledge you're going to get, because you don't know what objections or what, my biggest thing is you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, right? Yeah. So when you're on the phone and someone asks you a question like, oh, I can't answer it, that means you've got a gap in your knowledge, go and learn it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So this 100 phone call thing, it's also your training. It's what's going to create you. It's what makes you an agent, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I was doing interviews, when I was coming over from the UK to Dubai, and then a lot of times the people would mention commission to me. And then I obviously went with the company that was paying the most. I only lasted at that company for 2 months, but anyway, I went where they were paying the most. What would you say to people who were, when you're interviewing them and they're asking about commission, and say they decided to go for a company that was offering more than say what One Investments were? What would your advice be to them? Is that the most important part, the commission side?
Commission's great, right? But if you're going into a company that's giving you, let's say, 80% commission, right? Or they're giving you a massive high commission slab, you're like, okay, you're going to go with them. They're not giving you any leads behind it. You've got to find your own network, right? You've got to do everything yourself. Realistically, are you going to be better off at a company who's giving you a lower commission, right? But they're giving you leads every morning. You're going on, well, from my perspective, you're going on road shows almost every weekend to meet clients in their hometown face to face, sell to them, face to face, right? What would you rather? That's the thing, right? So a lot of people attach themselves to a high commission slab, right? Yeah. And they're like, okay, I can make the most money. But if you're going there and they're not giving you anything behind it, you're not going to make any money compared to if you're going to a company who's on a lower commission, but they're actually backing you from behind, right?
Yeah. So that relates to a lot of what happened to me. So I've worked for obviously 5 different companies. And, the first one was obviously because it was a big company and I was coming from the UK. And, it made sense to go to a big corporate company. Then I did opposite. Then I went to a smaller company, but then I wasn't getting proper leads. Like it was just, there were leads that they bought, which a lot of the agencies in Dubai were calling. So I was like, like people already spoke to someone. Yeah. Or the leads were like 3 years old or something, like no joke. They were really old. They're like, I didn't inquire a long time ago. In all honesty, like maybe the 2 people out of that whole batch that I was ever called, I still have their phone numbers today. Everybody else was just a massive waste of time. And then I came to One Investments. And then when I came into One Investments, I'd been there, I started in April. I went on my first roadshow in May, closed my first roadshow deal in the roadshow. Yeah. Came home from the roadshow and closed my first deal in the office in the June. Prior to that, I hadn't closed a deal.
Yeah.
So exactly. Yeah. So I'm a big advocate for this. But then
you've seen it firsthand.
Exactly that. And from my own, I can speak from my own experience and say that. But then everyone knows that I left One Investments after a year and I went off for a year to explore more like companies that were in Dubai. But I also did go for higher comms. I was like, oh, they're going to pay more, so I can earn more money. And actually, one of them did pay more money. And yes, I did close deals there. Then I left because the culture of that company was not aligned with the way what I'm used to or what I'd like to do, kind of thing. And then I went to another company, which again was a big British company. And I was there for 3 months and I got no leads, no leads with my experience, my knowledge and everything. So, and then this is how I ended up back at One Investments. So I was like, look, the culture was, the company culture was good. The environment was good. I might have a tantrum now and then you had to deal with my tantrum. So she's on one again, kind of thing. Okay, I'll be straight. Like the comms isn't as high as what I was getting somewhere else. But guess what? I'm closing. I'm getting leads. I'm getting roadshows. And for me, my personal experience is about opportunity over money. Because if there's no opportunity, how are you going to make this money? Yeah. And that's the other thing I've learned very quickly is companies pay you higher comms when they have less to give you in other ways. Whereas at One Investments, I get not only leads, roadshows, I get a lot of support in social media as well, which I never got in any other company. So
people find it crazy as well that we have a whole content team.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, you have a whole content, I can just use it. I was like,
yeah,
of course you
because
can
you
use
don't
it,
get that honestly in other companies. Yeah. They create content, so if they want you to film for their company pages, and they'll spend all day with you.
Yeah.
But to do it for your own personal brand, it's not heard of. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This is like the only company. I mean, more people are doing it now, but this is the first company I've been in where they're like,
fully
yeah,
on. Yeah.
because obviously I paid for my content previously. I had my own marketing team previously, and then when I came back to One Investments, they were like, "Don't waste your money. We'll do it all for you." And it's been a massive blessing. And the coaching and the help I get and the mentoring, like I'm like, this ain't working, that ain't working, and there's always someone there. You don't get that in other companies. So we know that Dubai has this reputation of having high turnover for real estate agents. Why do you think that is, and what do One Investments do to keep staff? So, or get them to come back.
Yeah.
What did you do to get me to come back? Yeah.
I think one of the main things is you've got a lot of, brokers who are just chasing the sale.
Yes.
Right? Where it's like they're very, over the top when it comes to they just want that sale, they just want that commission.
Desperate.
Right? It's different, very desperate, right? And it's different in One Investments because everyone I see there, they're advising their clients, right? They're sitting down with them on, for example, presentations or, meetings, and they're trying to understand what it is they're looking for, right? What's their budget? What location do they prefer, right? All the bits and pieces. And then they present them with an option.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're not really chasing it, right, then it's going to come to you, right? But then you've got a lot of those brokers who are trying to chase it, and it's never going to come to them. So then they just think, oh, okay, it's not for me, right? But it's just their, how they're looking at the situation and how they're wanting the situation to play out, which is really, stopping them making the actual sale.
So what does One Investments do then to retain staff?
I mean, you tell me, you came back.
I came back because of the culture, what we discussed already. Like for me, it was the whole, when it wasn't that it was a case that I thought the grass was greener. It might be a little bit of that, but it was like, I felt no shame in saying, I'm going to come back or I want to come back, because for me, it was the whole, it was the whole, like, they do feel like my family. I can go and speak to the CEO, the COO, managers, any manager, not just my own. I can speak to the tea lady, like, there is a hierarchy, but there isn't a hierarchy. Like, there's always an open door policy, and I can, if I want to complain about something, like I said, they allow me to have my tantrums, and then I know really they're ignoring me, but they still listen to me, kind of thing. And no one's ever said to me, I'm busy. Like, I'm busy. So for me, that was important. And like I said, the importance was that I trust everyone in the company. I've not felt that in other companies. I've not felt like I can trust people to not stab me in the back, or not to pay my money, or not to give me opportunities, or whatever it might be, or not be heard.
No company doesn't have people who leave, right? So there is a point of where people do leave, right? The company. But most of the time they're not performing. Yeah. Right? But that's the last case scenario of them actually leaving. Yeah. Right? Because what we do is when someone new comes in, they're paired with their managers. Yes. You've got seniors in those teams. Yeah. They're always working together. Right? You've even seen it yourself, right? Boardroom's always booked and it's team meetings. Yeah. Right? It's team meetings. Yeah. That presentation's on, one manager's at least doing it with their team, right? And
all the developer stuff as well. There's lots of developer training. People go to the developers' offices.
Yeah. So, and it's like we give that support, right? Yeah. If you're new and you're coming in, there's never a case of you're going to be like, okay, there's nothing for me to do. Or I don't feel like I know who to ask. Yeah. Right? Because you've got someone who's going to be across the table from you. Yeah. He's already been introduced to you. You've already had a conversation with him. And it's like, I mean, you even tell me, how many people have you spoken to? Right?
I was about to say to you, like, literally happened to me the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
I came in the office, there's a new person in front of me, a new person next to me. I'm like, oh, hi. And get talking. And how long have you been in real estate? I'm like, 26 years. I'm like, oh. I was like, yeah, exactly. Anyway.
But then that's the good thing, right? Because look how, for example, passionate you were speaking and saying, oh, it happened to me and I was telling them this. Every senior doesn't mind sharing their experiences, their knowledge, right? They're the same as you, like how you just reacted. Yeah. They don't mind telling them. They'll actually sit down with you and be like, yeah, I want to share my knowledge. Yeah. Right? So it's like, that's the case at One Investments. That's how we're retaining people, because they feel like, okay, I can get that, information. I can get that support here.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that I'll tell you how, and one thing I really loved about when all this geopolitical crisis, what did we call it the other day? Situation. when all this, one thing as well, when all this geopolitical situation happened, and I remember one of the first meetings we had in the boardroom as a company for, you know, it was like our COO was like, everyone, I want you in, let's have a chat. It was safe to do so, to go back to the office or whatever. Because during that time as well, it was very clear that, you know, you work from home if you don't feel safe coming to the office. The office is open. The CEO was there and the COO was there and a few of the managers were there. So you can come in if you want to. If you don't, it's cool. But when we were all told to come back to work, like the government said, go back to work. And we all were in the boardroom on that first day. And I will never forget that the COO said, he was like, guys, so he's telling us like, right, we need to get back on the phones. We need to get back to work. We've got to make money somehow. We've got to do something, right? However, if I hear one of you try and sell anything to anyone, we're going to have words. Because he was like, this is not about selling. It's about calling people, hey, and building that relationship.
Yeah.
And it was about, you know, let's just see who's still interested, who's not. We don't want to, obviously, we know it's a sensitive situation. So that to me was like, oh, this is why I'm here. Because even our COO saying, I'm not expecting anyone to do a deal. Yeah. I just expect you to maintain relationships.
Yeah, it's a relationship building game, right? Where that's a big indicator because it's more just get on the phones, call them and reassure them.
Yeah.
Don't try and sell them anything. Just let them know whatever, right? So that's like one thing that a lot of people see where there's a lot of direction in the company.
Exactly.
There's a lot of support in the company.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Why would you want to leave?
Yeah.
Like you might be getting a lower commission than somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you're going to go there and be left to your own devices.
Yeah.
Right? You'd rather be here where you're supported and you're making a lot more sales on that lower commission. Yeah. I say it's low, but it's not low.
That much lower. It's not that much different at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But for what you get for that difference in price, I'm trying to think if you get a can of Heinz baked beans or Asda price baked beans.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not, because it's still the same things. It's still the same tins. No, it's just different wrappings. It's in the same shop kind of thing.
If you're on a higher commission over there and you're not getting no support, you're more likely going to make money on the lower commission where you're getting campaigns, you're getting leads and everything. So it doesn't matter if you're getting higher because you're making more money over there anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, they just need to understand that. That's one of the main things. And then obviously, you know, being able to advise a client is a lot different than being able to sell to a client.
100%.
I don't think people understand that difference.
Yeah, they don't.
Right? Because advising is building that trust as well as that sale comes naturally.
Yeah.
Selling, you might. If you're picky and if you're pushy.
Yeah.
Right? If you push and you push, you might.
I think if it's a client who's already bought from you before and is a repeat buyer, that's different because you already have that relationship with them, that you have that trust, you have that.
But where did that come from originally? From advising him, right? Yeah. From advising him, and then you can move on to that.
Yeah.
People jump into let me just sell that.
Because they get desperate.
Yeah, and it's like no one wants to deal with a desperate person.
Or it's not even that they're desperate. There's a whole batch of agents, which is a whole nother podcast, where I did a thing on LinkedIn once and it went a bit crazy, where I said, I'm not a sales agent, I'm a real estate agent. Two very different things. A real estate agent will develop a relationship, want to keep that relationship for years to come. A sales agent will just want to get one deal and say, see you later and do nothing about it afterwards. So I think that is probably the difference in One Investments, that we are very much trained in relationship building. So obviously English is my first language, although I am Indian, so Punjabi is my second language, weirdly enough, because it should be my first, but anyway, born and raised in the UK. So how important is having another language? Because obviously in Dubai, we are so many different nationalities. In our office, there's so many different languages spoken.
Yeah.
So do you think I should concentrate on just people that speak English because English is my first language, or do you think I should try and hit up the whole market?
I mean, it's a big plus. Yeah. From what I've seen for example, in the office, we've got, a few Spanish speakers, for example, right? But it's not something you should just solely rely on, right? Because you're missing out on a separate market, right? For example, he speaks Spanish, right? It would make sense for him to speak to Spanish clients because the first thing, if they hear, if they hear Spanish, on the phone, they're going to have like a certain level of trust from the get-go.
Spanish was my first language. and English was my second language, should I just focus on, say, like Spain?
No, not at all. Because you've got, for example, we have you know, a lot of leads and clients from America, right?
Yeah.
You've got a lot of Spanish speakers in America.
Yeah, we got a lot of them, yeah.
You know, they're at an advantage there where they can tap into the Spanish market,
Yeah.
and they don't have to worry if the person speaks English because they're just straight off Spanish.
Yeah.
But they are also missing out on a market over, even in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Right? You've got you know, people from who speak Spanish over there in America. The language is an advantage, yes, a big advantage having a second language.
Yeah.
But not focusing on it just from that country.
That's true.
Right? If you're looking elsewhere, like in America, UK, especially America,
Yeah.
right? That's like a big advantage if you
Yeah.
can do that. Like we've got, for example, one of the guys at work, he speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
Hear him on the phone all the time. He's talking to the American clients,
And we're always
right?
passing the calls to him as well. Like, I've got
Exactly.
Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
And even with the Russian, we've got a couple of people that speak Russian.
Yeah.
I'm always passing the phone, like, because obviously Russian people love to invest in Dubai. So yeah, that's it's definitely an advantage. But I've never had anyone pass the phone to me saying, "Here, this client, I need someone that speaks Punjabi." I'm just like, me? Like,
Yeah, maybe they'll see this and then they'll be like, okay,
yeah.
now we know.
Reach out. So I feel like we've kind of tapped into this one a little bit already. But what is the day-to-day culture like in One Investments? Because we put a lot of stuff on social media. We put stuff on our website.
Yeah.
But it's one thing showing that. It's the other thing it actually coming to life, like it being true. So what's the you tell me. I know what the culture's like, but you tell me, what is the culture like?
You'll probably agree with me as well. But it's more of, you know, you've got, at work, it's work, firstly, right? You might see everything on, for example, LinkedIn and Instagram. You know, we do One Wellness, this and that. But
I don't do One Wellness, but yeah.
I mean, you come to the next one.
No.
Yeah, come to the next one. It's not that bad. Everyone says it, they come, they enjoy it.
You guys do High Rocks.
Don't come to the High Rocks. Come to the beach one. Yeah. That one's more
I'll go for a
relaxing.
walk. Like,
Yeah.
I do.
But
the
that's
walk
the thing. We've got One Wellness, and it's for everyone.
Yeah,
like, you don't have to.
By the way, listeners, we have a group called One Run Club. We have a group called One Wellness. We have a group called, what's the other one? There's another one.
Probably like one football, one paddle or something.
Yeah, honestly, there's
everything.
health and fitness groups, and I don't do any of it. I have a PT. I have a PT who's in One Investments, and that's about it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? It's more like everyone sees that and they see One Wellness, right?
We should do the mall. If you guys want to start running around the mall, I'll come with you. I'm not going outside.
You actually gonna come with us and do the whole thing?
If you're gonna do the mall, yeah.
Okay. Why the mall? Why not like the beach? We do Kite Beach. It's nice.
Because it's too hot now. The mall's open now for indoor running.
Okay, fair enough.
And then
we'll
you've got Rio Ferdinand and Kate Ferdinand doing exercises in the mall now as well.
Who?
Rio Ferdinand.
Oh, Rio Ferdinand. Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
And Kate, his missus. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's more of like people don't see, of course, we go in, we work, right? But then people, I tell people like we're like a family at One Investments, right? Now people just say, oh, you say that, everyone says that it's like a family, but it's like
it really is, and I am the annoyed female. No.
Yeah, but it is.
I've just got lots of little brothers.
Yeah, it is, and it's like for me personally, right? I wouldn't. If I wouldn't think of any other place where, and I've worked at other places, and I wouldn't think, let me go out on the weekend with these lot.
Yeah.
Right?
You guys do spend a lot of time together outside of work, like all the boys do.
Paddle, football,
big
even
one.
going out to eat. That's the amazing thing about Dubai, right? It's like you're all within like 20, 25 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
So you can all like link up. But it's like a good thing where you're like, okay, after work, you guys are, chilling together. It really it's an icebreaker almost, right? For the new people especially.
Yeah.
That One Wellness, people come in, they're a lot more confident and a lot more talkative on first, like as in when they first join.
I'm not coming to One Wellness.
No, but you're friends with everyone anyways. You know everyone, right?
Yeah, so I think that whole wellness culture is massively driven by chairman. He's massive in health and fitness.
Yeah.
CEO.
Yeah.
COO. I think they're the main drivers. Because I remember before every roadshow. So roadshows are a very big place where you bond as well, because you're traveling together, you're working together, you're eating and sleeping together. Like that's how the family stuff starts, in my opinion, because that's how I bonded with a lot of the boys. I was the only girl on a roadshow, and they used to look after me, and they used to make sure I was okay. Took me, come on, we're gonna go here for eat, we're gonna go for a walk, and we just like all did everything together. But I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's heavily driven by. On the road shows, I remember when I was in One Investments before. And every morning, like CEO would be texting, guys, come on, get up, go for a jog. Then you see one of the other managers, big, like he's got his whole team up. They're going for a 6 a.m. run. Like it was a really good way to get you going for the day, especially in different time zones when you're jet lagged as well. Yeah. So that's another thing I love about the culture. That's another thing I love about the culture in One Investments. Like they encourage you to be a better, not only better agent, but a better person, like healthy mind, healthy lifestyle and all that. Not that you get told off if you have a bit of a chocolate or a biscuit or something.
Yeah, no. It's not
like, that bad, but they encourage, wellness and fitness as well as, you work hard and you got to look after your body to thrive and get through this.
But that's one aspect of it, right? The fitness. That's like, you're getting fit, but it's also you're all coming together and you're doing something together.
Yeah, it's teamwork.
That's like the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right? Where someone might come into the office and in an office setting, you can't really have like a conversation where it's like kind of not really about work, right? Yeah. You're always thinking like, okay, it's work. I have to do work here. But if you're coming to like our football sessions, right? And then you're coming to like the paddle sessions or the wellness
people's
days.
Personalities come out a bit more, don't they?
Because they feel a bit relaxed. Everyone's there. No one's really focused on work.
Playing field.
Yeah, like no one's really focused on work. So you can kind of like ask those questions, like get to know a person and speak to them.
And just for the listeners, the girls actually have a little girl group where every so many weeks we go get our nails done or we go for massages and it's all paid for by the CEO. So thank you, Hamid. Appreciate it.
That's why you don't come to the wellness.
I don't want to break a nail.
No, if you go, that means you lose out on that one. Cause,
maybe, well, we haven't done it for a long time. So the last event that we did there was pottery painting kind of thing. So the girls do get together and do little things as well.
Yeah.
I need to organise something. We haven't done anything for a long time. So I think our culture is work hard, play hard.
Yeah, 100%.
For like the actual, we do work hard, but we do actually go and have a good time.
Yeah, and it's
on a wellness point of view.
And it's even better when you deserve, when it's deserved, right? And you've done that work throughout the week, and then you're like, I deserve this. I'm gonna go do this.
And I almost feel like if you are determined to, okay, so like I was going to contradict everything I was going to say then. I was going to say, but if you're like really push yourself when it comes to fitness and you're like, you're not going to give up, you're going to do it. I think that comes out into what kind of salesperson you are as well. But after I said that, I realized, no, I give up in the gym. I was like, I can't do no more. And I was like, but I'm not like that at work. So one thing I've noticed a lot when I've changed companies or even when I was moving over myself, some companies do get really aggressive when it comes to your start date. Like they're like, no, you need to start this week. No, you need to start tomorrow. Because they know that you're doing interviews with other people and it's very likely that you're going to go join another company or would consider another company. What advice would you give someone if they felt like they were being pressured into starting before they were actually ready themselves?
Just take your time.
Yeah.
Honestly, take your time. Even if you're working here already in Dubai or you're in, for the UK, America, you're coming over, right? Just take your time and understand the company, firstly, right? What are they giving you, right? And more than likely, when a company's pushing you to come join, it's never a good sign, right? So you should always approach it.
Desperate again, isn't it?
It's like
desperate.
If you're a known company, like in One Investments, right? Yeah. I know what One Investments does. I know how One Investments is. Yeah. I wouldn't then actively go and I know what the company's worth. Yeah. Right? We're looking for people. We're not trying to grab people.
Yeah.
We get people. Yeah, we get people coming to us. Yeah. People with experience. People with, who have heard okay, One Investments are able to help me in this way. Let me come over. Right? So I know from that. So if a company's, trying to bring you over like that very quickly, it's never a good sign.
Do you feel like it's a numbers game in recruitment as well? Because I've noticed that in other companies. I've noticed they need to have 10 or 20 people in the next training session, in the next joining day. But I very much notice in One Investments, look, if it's one person starting this week and 10 people starting next week, it don't matter. Let them come when they want to come. If you're ready to come today, come today. If you're not, you come whenever you're ready.
Of course, you'd want ideally, like a lot of people in, right?
Yeah.
On your end, right?
Yeah.
You're hiring. But so if it's someone who's like, when we've got those, 2 people coming in, right?
Yeah.
If those 2 people are veterans, right?
Right.
They're very well experienced, so they can come in, it's like plug and play. They can just sit in and they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, yeah.
Right? They get given the leads and that's it, they're off, right? If it's someone who's not got that much experience, you'd want to join with a group, right? Group of, 7 to 10 people.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're all bouncing off each other, right?
Yeah.
You're all learning the same thing at the same time.
Support system.
Yeah.
Actually, we've noticed that people that come in training groups together, they become the best of friends and end up living together as well, actually.
Exactly. So you've seen it so many times in one investments, right? But it's a better environment for you, right? Because you're then learning, and then eventually, of course, you become very experienced within yourself. But you'd want that kind of support system from like-minded people who are on the same journey as you, and also seniors in the company who can offer their advice for you.
Yeah. So if someone's not ready to join, or if someone's not ready for whatever the personal reasons are, what was your advice? Yeah.
That's one of the big things, especially people who are moving over.
Yeah.
Right? If you're getting pressure to move over quickly, you're not going to have everything in order before you come over.
Yeah.
Right? I always say to people, tie up your loose ends before you move country. Yeah. Right?
I took 3 months. Like, I got my job and I was like, I'm not coming for 3 months. Yeah. I've got stuff to do. I've got a house here. I've got belongings, my car, this and that. Like, I had to shut all that down before I came.
People don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? And then they come over and then they're struggling. Yeah. Oh, I'm here. I'm paying for this apartment here in Dubai.
Yeah.
I've also got pay my apartment over in the UK.
Yeah.
It's like if you rush it and you don't think, it's a disaster when you get over here.
Because I remember there was a guy recently and he came and he came into the team I was in, and he honestly had everything. He ticked all the boxes to be like the best agent ever, and he did close a deal quite quickly, actually. But I remember he was just constantly flying back to the UK. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. And I was just like, how are you gonna, like, you need to settle down, you need to crack on, like, you need to just be here, fully here. So yeah, that's really, really super important.
Exactly. That's why I say main thing is take your time.
Yes.
Just understand, firstly, on the company's end, and also on your end. Like, what's your time frame? And I think people are under the, assumption of, if I tell them it's going to be 3 to 4 months, they're going to be like, no, we don't want you.
Yeah, because
they don't mind.
That's in the UK. That's UK culture.
Yeah.
Where your start date's got to be in a month's time.
Yeah.
In Dubai or UAE, we very much are used to the 3-month timescale, because a lot of the times you're waiting. If you're changing jobs, changing company, you need to get your commission paid from your current company and then be able to leave, which can take like a few months to come through, depending on situation. So yeah, for sure. So if somebody, talking about people that are in Dubai, UAE, currently working as agents, and they've had a bad experience where they are, and they're looking to move to another company, which is what I did 5 times. So what advice would you give to them? Like, what advice would you give to them on how to make sure they pick not a better or more the right company that fits for them?
I mean, there's always going to be kind of situations in every company, right? But then, you might get the case where the company is like, they're not really, they were one thing on paper, and then what you saw in the interview, and then they're a different thing, right?
Yeah.
So it all comes down to research, right? Doing your research on the company. Right. I even tell, when I'm on the phone to candidates and they're like, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm like, okay, I've explained everything that we give you as a company.
Yeah.
Now go to that interview and compare.
Yeah.
And then get back to me. If you don't get back to me, then I'll assume you're better off over there. You like their model, whatnot.
Yeah.
Right. 9 times out of 10, they want to have a conversation with me after.
Yeah, because our model is very different as well. There's no, obviously, like I said, I've worked at other companies. No one has a model like ours, and it's very unique, and it is very successful. Hence the reason why we've been doing it for so long. So that to me is like you couldn't. I think people must find it hard to compare us to other companies.
Yeah, and this is why you need to reach out to people and have a conversation, right? People who are working in the company there now, people who have previously worked in the company and gone somewhere else, right? Because And don't think it's Dubai. Everyone loves networking.
Yeah.
You can. I've networked, and I'm in connections and in contact with people who have nothing to do with real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you can definitely go and speak to that one broker who previously worked there and who currently works there.
Yeah.
Right. It's just about going, and one of the main places is LinkedIn.
Yes.
Make a LinkedIn. Right. Get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And your connections will come. You probably won't even have to look for them.
Have a photo as well, because when you just no picture, people because I'll get several messages on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, because of this podcast, but also just people can see that I have experience, or they may have thought about joining One Investments and they see that I'm someone working at One Investments. So they'll reach out and they'll be like, oh, can I get your honest opinion? And again, this is why I end up doing this podcast, because I've been getting a lot of those recently. And I will give you my honest opinion, and I'm not biased, like I'm really not. And I will tell people, what are you looking to do? Are you looking for off plan? Are you looking for secondary? Are you looking for leasing? And they'll ask me, what do you think's best? And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about you really, so I can't answer that. But what I'm going to say to you is that our model is very specific. There's no other company that does what we do. So if you come here, you won't be able to if you come to One Investments, you can never compare us to anybody else, because we're very different in what we do.
Yeah.
No other company is going to allow you to travel the world like we do on a regular basis. That's just, but also don't think it's all rosy, because it's long hours and long traveling. It's all good us talking about jobs and stuff, but where do you see Dubai real estate going in the next 2 to 3 years? So if anyone was coming to join the industry now, have they got a future? Because apparently the market has crashed. Apparently there's no one in Dubai. So what's your opinion on that? Have people got like a long-term career here if they was to join today?
I can give it from my personal experience, right? From seeing from the company.
Yeah.
Right. Firstly, we're expanding.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's teams, content team, marketing team, sales team, recruitment, every team's getting expanded. The office is getting expanded. It's just gone under renovation, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then we're getting another side of the office. So we're doubling the size of the office. We're not just doing that for nothing. We're doing that because we're getting more people in, upscaling our teams, sales, marketing, content, recruitment as well, right? And then one of the biggest indicators are roadshows.
Yeah.
We're going on our roadshows.
Yeah, we're back out there.
We're back to normal.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that's from my personal experience. So if you ask me, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
There's a market there, and there's always going to be a market there.
Yeah.
So if you're coming over, right, and you actually want to, do real estate, that's not something you should be worried about.
No.
Your only thing should be, okay, I need to focus. I need to have my understanding on the market, right? And how do I become an expert to the client?
Yes.
Right? If that's where you're looking at and that's what you're thinking before coming in, then you're most likely going to succeed. Yes,
exactly. And I believe that as well. And I just feel like also within our organization, as we've all been in our company, in our organization of one group, even when all this stuff happened, we all pivoted. We have stuff in Pakistan, we have stuff in UK, and we are also developers in our group as well. So for us as well at One Investment, you're not just stuck in you're a real estate agent, you're only selling off plan. Like we were created opportunities in other areas as well.
That's one of the main things. How are the company dealing with it?
Yeah.
Right? From you looking like you mentioned, okay, for this, which was only a short term until we started selling Dubai again, right? Until sales started ramping up.
A couple of weeks.
But at least, it's comforting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is now what we can do in the meantime.
Yeah.
Whether it's only for a week and a half until, we start doing something again or something else, but at least you've got that.
And I think that's really important, because I know a lot of my friends that work in other brokerages, they all went to the home countries for like a month.
Yeah.
Because they had nothing to do. And I was just like, they're like, are you not going to leave? I'm like, no, I got work. I got things to do here. Like, do you know what I mean? So we still had things to do. Even like from what the COO said, make your calls. You're not selling, you're just building relationships. So when you have that kind of vision of there's always an opportunity, there's always a door to knock on, there's always something we can be doing, and there's people setting examples, I think that, you you can thrive in this industry for as long as you're willing to create opportunities.
Of course, is number one yourself, and then number two the leadership, right? Yeah. Obviously, I work for One Investments, but I'm not being biased because I've worked elsewhere.
Yeah, same.
The leadership there is top notch. I've not seen anything like. I've never seen people in terms of any situation think of something so fast.
Do you know,
and
honestly,
how to pivot?
Yeah,
it's like they already knew beforehand.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like whether it's like, you know, different markets or where to go on the road shows, for example.
Yeah.
Right? It's set, like their leadership and how they're able to pivot is just second to none.
Yeah.
From what I've seen myself.
No, I totally agree with you. And it is almost like you never see the CEO or COO, you never see them have a day where it's like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what I'm doing. Or what the hell are we going to do? Yeah. Like, if anything, they're just always busy. I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They're always busy. The amount of times I'm having a conversation with the COO and he's like, yeah, on this phone.
Oh,
yeah. I'm just like, are you listening? Yeah, I heard you. You said this. I'm like, okay. Like, literally always talking to multiple people, always doing something. And the other thing is, well, they're also still talking to clients as well as running the business.
Exactly.
Like,
they're able to now balance like 50 things at once.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it looks like, okay, it's like, oh, they're really, really busy.
Yeah.
But it's like they've got everything set, their organization and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
They're always planning ahead.
Exactly. Which makes us, from how we are in our company, how it looks so, and like we're like, okay, yeah, it's working so smoothly.
Yeah.
But we don't know that, you know,
they're
if
the
you
ones
look
taking the stress.
closely, it's them that's doing everything to make sure we are, you know, going seamlessly.
Yeah.
But it's mindset and leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Well, I think that's a good place to end. But thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Come back again. So for anybody that is looking for more help and advice on how to apply for a job in Dubai real estate or even at One Investments, you can contact, Ali first will be the best person to contact. But if you do want to speak to me, I'm always happy for a chat. You can comment, send a DM, and reach out to us. And even if you want a Zoom call with both of us, we'll be happy to do that with you and have a little chit chat. So reach out. And I hope you found this podcast useful as you did the last one.